All right, we are back for day 2. We are live here at ISTE 24. You can see the people walking by. This is very exciting. And this is a first for Lori and I. We are typically in 2 different states. We are doing this over video and pulling the audio as you know, as you continue to listen. I see people are already tuning in. We have multiple people in. If you have questions for us or questions for the Lightspeed team, feel free to send those in. I'll pull them up. But this is really exciting. First time we've been live.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting to be live and to hear us right in the hallway when everyone's walking by. It's completely a new experience for me.
It's a little booming, and I'm really excited to have the Lightspeed team here because they are the sponsors, and we're so happy to have them on the X Factor Podcast Network and being part of our group. We're already up over 12, 13 people coming in. Keep coming in and watching live, and we are going to get it started. So, Nicole, this is not what you expected to do today, was it?
No, it was not.
So, can you tell individuals what your role is and kind of your journey to get here to ISTE?
Absolutely. Well, I am a senior product specialist at Lightspeed. Prior to joining Lightspeed, I spent 21 years in the public school system. So I know a lot about everything going on here at ISTE. I spent a lot of ISTE conferences as an educator, and now I get to do it as a vendor. But my main goal is product professional development. That's what I do for Lightspeed Systems. So I make sure that everybody understands how to use Classroom and use it effectively and alert as well. Digital, all of our products, that's what I get to do. I get to go out and show people, make videos, and just add resources to everything that we would like to just help.
Yeah, you definitely speak my language. I'm all about professional learning and making sure that teachers know how to use the technology that we have available to us. That's great. So what did you teach when you were in the class?
Oh my goodness. I started out as a 2nd grade teacher, and I loved 2nd grade. I spent 11 years as a 2nd grade teacher, and then I had a mobile lab. I created a mobile lab for the school that I was in because I was doing technology all the time. Then I ended up doing robotics and gifted programs and just technology. Then I ended up in the instructional technology team at my district. And that's where I was handed Lightspeed. That's where I got to know the products and mainly alert. That was my big thing that I was assigned to. But I really got to go out with professional development to our teachers and say, this is how we use Classroom. This is how it's going to be amazing for you. And then an opportunity opened up for me at Lightspeed, and here I am, and I'm loving it. Almost 2 years. Next week will be 2 years I've been here at Lightspeed.
Wonderful. I'm going to do a little crossover here for a minute, like they do like on TV shows when they NCIS from Hawaii goes to Chicago or whatever they are. So one of the things that you talked about is bringing that into the classrooms and doing professional development. And another podcast that I do in book I wrote is called Stronger Together. And for me, I have always found that it's not just teachers to teachers, it's solution providers and educators. And I know sometimes a lot of things that Lightspeed does is behind the scenes, but it makes it possible to have a safe learning environment and create engagement in the classroom. Tell a little bit about your partnerships with districts.
Well, we love to partner with districts, and I'll go on site sometimes, and I know I'm going in a couple of weeks. I'm going out to Florida to a district, and we're just going to talk all things alert. My job is just to go in and make sure everybody's comfortable, make sure everybody is ready to fully implement and use the product. So I can do that on site. I can do that virtually. They reach out to me, and I'm there. If they need something, I can create it. We didn't have a PD handout. Someone said, wait, it would be great to have this. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that for you. And so now we have that for everybody. And so we just, whatever our districts need, we want to provide it for them. When they start saying, hey, this would be great if this product had this, it goes on our board. We are really serious about it, and then all of a sudden there it is. We have AI Notify now because we need to monitor those things. We have merged classes in Classroom now because teachers needed that. So we want to partner with our districts to do everything. We want to make it successful for them. We want to make it work for them.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you mentioned AI, and I know that a lot of what I've been doing here at ISTE has been around AI. I've been hearing AI an awful lot in the sessions that I've sat in on. Can you explain how Lightspeed uses artificial intelligence?
say, well, we use it in a lot of different ways. Let me talk about alerts for a minute. I talked about AI notifying classroom, it's free, and it really just picks up when your students are going to AI generated sites. It just really lets us say, hey, we're using this in the way that these were used, right? But on the alert side, we have an AI that students, all these students' online activities, and it really helps to identify our students and devices. So our AI works that way as well. And it's my favorite piece of it. That's amazing.
That's awesome. We're up over 32 people. So I'm going to ask you both, and as we kind of have, because one of the powers of the SMILEFactor podcast is that it's real conversational. And I know for me, seeing people here is so impactful. And you were talking about going into schools and creating that relationships. And we had an opportunity last night to go to an event, and I felt like it was like a wedding reception. It was like awesome folks we see online and we see all over the place. So for me, that was one of my special ISTE moments, is to have that and meet people, because you see individuals online. There was a woman who came up from India who has seen me and was like, she wanted to say hi. It was just a great moment. So have you had any moments here that have been just like wonderful for you?
Yeah, I will tell you that being at that event last night, I did feel like it was kind of like coming home and seeing all the people that we've seen online, but actually being able to have conversations with them in person was really neat. I think that's what's one of the things that I love about ISTE, is it brings all of these great minds together. You feel like you're with people who are excited about educational technologies. We are excited about being in the classroom and excited about, anything to do that, anything we can do to help our students. How about for you? Have you seen anything here that, kind of resonates with you?
Well, I do live trainings. Every other week I have live trainings. People sign up and they come. So what's been great for me is when I'm at the booth, somebody says, oh, I know you.
Oh, that's
and who did that training for me? Let me tell you how we're using this. And that to me is, it's like when you're in the classroom and that student has that aha moment and their light bulb goes off. That's kind of how I'm feeling when these people are coming up to me going, you're the one who did this, and I'm so excited because we're using this in our classrooms now, and we know how to do it because you did, So it's been great, yes, to see those people, those virtual people that we don't know, that we just see on this screen here, come up and have conversations with us, and I just get so much. That brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah, I can tell. It's like a passion of your work and being a part of in the community of individuals. And I think sometimes in my years of working with solution providers, it is behind the scenes and you don't get to be out. And you had mentioned the booth, so people walking by or people watching, our own supported people watching already. We have Joel up in Canada taking a look, and thank you, Joel. And if you haven't checked out Joel, he's been doing some amazing stuff with fitness. So shameless plug out for Joel, and Tanya is also checking in. And if you're here checking in, make sure to head upstairs to the Expo Hall booth 2000, right?
Yes.
Some great things going on up there, some great work, and some great people. And I think that's just the heart of what we do, working with great people. And how does that work for you? Because I know, Laura, you do a lot of work in multiple districts. I'm in one district, but I work with multiple schools. So I have always, for me, found that's my way in. Like I try to start my day in schools. As assistant superintendent, it sometimes feels I'm the they or them and the us and them conversation. But I try to get into schools. What are some things you both do when you're going to schools? Because I'm an elementary principal at heart. So I try to get there for when they arrive, because it's like the fun uncle. It's like, hey, I get to do all these great things. So how about you two?
Yeah, for me, I like you said, I've been in multiple schools. Kind of like you, I do a lot of professional learning around anything with educational technology, and I have 31 schools that I support. And every day is different, which is one of the things I absolutely love about my job. Maybe I feel the same way. But and I don't know if any of you that are watching can see your T-shirt, but those are the areas that we really spend so much time going into schools around, right? Our safety, wellness, our social emotional learning, mental health, cybersecurity is a big topic that we spend a lot of time on, making sure that our students are safe, making sure that they're not sharing their personally identifiable information online, right? Those are the big topics we talk about. Computer science, making sure that we're opening up opportunities for students beyond what they're doing in the classroom, bringing the classroom into, or bringing the world into their classroom. Those are the things that get me excited. But for me, sometimes when I'm with a group of teachers and we're doing something, sometimes they can be a little hesitant, right? Oh, I don't have time to learn something new. I feel like what I'm doing is already working. Whatever the reasoning is for maybe not wanting to be improved. But as soon as we get started and we find that one thing that gets them excited, all of a sudden the tables turn and they're like, yeah, I can do this. It's going to be great. And see how it impacts not only them, but definitely their students. Have you had experience something like that too?
Oh, I have. I had to go back to my home district last week.
Where's that?
It's in Caddo Parish in Louisiana.
Okay.
And we are Caddo. Hashtag we are Caddo. That's our hashtag there. So shameless plug there as well. I got to go back last week and spend the day with them. New teachers coming in, never seen the classroom before. We went through classroom. We did it together. They were the students. I was the teacher. And they were able to just see exactly how it works and how it will look in their classrooms. And never having seen anything before, their faces, they were like, we can use this. This is going to be so awesome. And I, when I go into schools or when I teach virtually, whenever, I always talk about it's not an eye gotcha moment. These are not eye gotchas. This is here to just make learning just go really well. And I've had a lot of teachers come by me yesterday. A lot of them said, I asked them, what is your favorite thing in the classroom? What has been great in the classroom for you? And they're like, time on task. Time on task is a long way up. Another teacher said, what I like the most? I like that little tab. You can just close the tab. That puts them right back where they need to be. And they're just so excited. But I really love going back to my district last week.
That's awesome. So one of the powers of being live is people are walking by. If any of you have questions, feel free to come by and talk to Lightspeed. We have a CTO from Chicago area here, Phil Hintz. Phil, come on over a second. So when you work with solution providers like the great Lightspeed, what are the things that you hope to get from them as a partner? Stay behind Nicole. We want to see you, man. Good.
It's great day today. So, you repeat the question.
Yeah, we're so awestruck by it. When you work with solution providers, what are one of the things that you want to have happen to create that partnership with schools and solution providers?
Well, I definitely need to develop a relationship. I think that's first and foremost. I need to know that I can trust people I'm working with. And the only way to do that is to create a relationship, or at least have a good conversation. And that's really important. And that once you have that trust, it's a matter of making sure they have the students' best interest in mind, not just necessarily mine or my teams or the cabinet or the school district, but the students. All of that can focus on the students, of course.
Awesome. So thank you, Phil, for stopping by. That was what you were expecting. So you talked about partnerships. How do you ensure that it does really go back to students, like Phil was saying? So I know Alert creates a safe environment. One of the things I always liked about alerts, and I'm going to jump into insights after, but one of the things I like about alerts is, as a principal, I always say my only two jobs, and I believe this, for all you principals out there, we're almost up to 50 people watching. That's awesome. Our only two jobs was to create the best learning environment possible and to keep the school safe. And I would say that I was the principal from 2006 to 16, and there wasn't a ton of the digital sense at that point in school. And now I say the same thing, but creating safety both inside the walls and also in the environment. So how do you ensure that your work does go back to student success?
Well, like Phil said, we have to have a relationship. So we have relationships with our clients, we have relationships with, I go out again, training, professional development. I have that relationship. They call me, they ask questions, whatever. I give them the best possible way to set this up for student success, right? We want our students to be, their mental health is important, right? So we want them to be in the best place. And with a product like Alert, that's going to catch all of these self-harm or violence or whatever it happens to be. Once we see that, it's out there, and we can help the students, we can counsel them, we can do that. I have actually, do I have time to tell a story?
Sure. Okay, nowhere to be.
I can remember the very first time that I realized the power of alert. And I've been using it a little bit, but I had an alert come through, and the student had updated a Google Doc. And what I realized was this document was a journal. And in this journal, the student had talked about some very private things, some things that were happening to her at home. And it was not good. And I remember that moment where we had to take action. And I remember the aftermath of it. I remember the police were involved, and the student, though, what we did was we made sure that student had help. She got the counseling she needed. She's a beautiful, thriving person now, but you can tell just her life changed so much from that one alert. She could have been going on and on. And I remember she was a fourth grader at the time. My daughter was a third grader, and so it just hit hard for me. And so just knowing that we have this in place, that we could do something to help. And that one's a personal story for me. That's the one that's like, there's power in this. You know, you see the other ones come through. It's like, oh, it's a homework assignment. It's not a big deal. But this one was the one that was like, this is a big deal.
And that's your why, right? Because, we want to be there for our students in every way. And we know that the students deal with a lot. There's a lot going on in their homes and in their daily lives that we wouldn't have that information if they could share with us in some way. And the fact that you were able to capture that and give the support to that student is incredible. I'm with you on that. I think that's exactly why we need programs like Alert that are going to help us make sure that we're there for our students, and that's why we went into education, is to be able to support them. So I love that. So it can be chills.
Yeah, hey, look,
Right?
that's a safety piece. That, like I said, that one's near and dear to my heart. And like you, hey, we want them to be in the best learning environment they can be in, but we want them to be in the safest place that they can be too. All the way around. I want to be safe. I always told my students, I will stand in front of anything for you, because I'm your mom at school, right? I'm the one in charge,
Yep, and you walk over Legos with them. Absolutely, I think that's so important, and I think that relationships, we were talking about that, having a relationship between the educator or the district administrator and a program or a product, but it also is the relationships with our students. We want to make sure that we're working community every day. That's what's going to help them with their mental health. It's going to help them open up if they need to, and share their stories with us, and that's how we give them the support they need. So I love that.
Yes. So one last one. We have about 5 more minutes, and I wanted to dive into, because of the work that I do, and one of the initial programs I started to work with Lightspeed with is around digital insights. And for me, as a district leader, and Lori eventually jump in too, we want to see what students are using. And we want to see, it's really helped me build the budget. It's helped me see where we need to deliver more professional development, or for delivering a lot of professional development and students aren't using that platform, that app, then it's why we spend money on it. So it's been a great return on investment for me for budgeting as a district leader, and it's also been great for planning professional development. So can you kind of give a snippet of what Digital Insight is, and then how it's helping districts?
Absolutely. Let's see, Digital Insight is going to help you capture everything that's going on with the applications in your district. You'll be able to see your student involvement. So we have a users reporting section where you can go in and look at what students are using, how much time they're using something. So there's particular a math. Let's just use a math app. It's mandated. You're supposed to spend 30 minutes a day on it. And we go in and we're looking at it, and our students are spending 5 minutes on average a day on this. We're not really using this in the right way, right? So you'll be able to see all those different things for professional development. Like Matt said, I remember my former district. As soon as we put Digital Insight in place, we saved $50,000 because we saw an application that was not in use. We were paying $50,000 a year for this thing, and we never used it.
That's incredible.
So, we got that. And then for me, for my side of things, my side of the house, professional development, I'm looking at these things going, wow, this school is doing an amazing job, but this one hasn't touched it. Let's go over here and see what's going on. We're going to go over there, we're going to pump them full of professional development, and then we're going to watch this thing go up. And it did. You look at it, and you look at it a month later, and you see the usage way up because of that professional development. Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes we do. I mean, as a teacher, I know I was this way in the classroom. We don't always know what the district has purchased. And it's not that they didn't tell us, or it's not on somewhere, but you forget, right? Or you're busy doing whatever you're doing in the classroom. I always go back to, there was a movie, oh gosh, I can't tell you how many years ago. It's called Robots. And in there, their tagline was see a need, fill a need. And I think that having the ability to see, okay, you have this product, it can fill this need. We just have to be sure that we're using it properly. And I think that's super important. I talk about that in my book that we have to leverage the technology. It's not just having it. I always cringe at the first year I had iPad in the classroom back in 2013. We had this news group come in to interview our students to see about the impact it's having. And there's one little girl, she just graduated from college, a long time ago, right? But she said, now we can do our worksheets on our iPad. And I just remember being like, no, we're missing the mark. This is not what the technology is for. It's not so we can do digital worksheets, right?
We got fans back there agreeing with you.
That's right. Yeah, we got a lot of thumbs down on digital worksheets, but maybe there's a better way to do it. And sometimes it takes those professional learning opportunities for us to see that and to open up others' eyes to say, this is how I use it, and this is how this district is using it, or this teacher has done this amazing thing with it. Maybe it's going to help that student. It's going to make a difference in the classroom. I think that's really important.
I agree. I agree. Big time. So you had some fans back there, by the way, when I went over to say hi. They went, Nicole Allen? Eileen.
Yes.
So she didn't know she was going to be doing this probably 12 hours ago, and you've been doing great. So the last thing, Nicole, that we do is we have the SMILEFactor podcast, and that comes from Smile Learning, the book by Lori. It's an amazing book. Check it out. If you want to grab a copy, come on down here over the next 2 hours. And X Factors Group created SMILEFactor. But what we do at the close is we say, what's our SMILEFactor for the week? Because we typically release these on Mondays. So it's really just what's your action to the listeners moving forward. And we're up over 50 listeners. I have your book for you. Don't walk away. We're almost done. Okay, good. So for me, my SMILEFactor, when I'm thinking of community, ISTE community, working with partners, is my SMILEFactor is to be very clear with the vision of what I want to partner with. Because when you do that, what I learned yesterday at your booth 2000, stop on up there, is that I articulated the need of my district, and quickly they had 2 different reps. You had 2 different individuals come over and address it. And both of them were actually kind of what we talked about today, was really bringing the digital insights and getting our app approval system. So I was very clear, this is what I would like to do. And I got a very clear response. So that's mine going forward, is to make sure that I'm clear in my messaging when working with solution providers.
Yeah, I actually am going to talk about getting back on that vendor floor too, because, I think sometimes educators will have in mind like this product we can use in the class and this one we can't. But I think that sometimes sitting and having a conversation with a company that maybe you don't know a lot about, you might find out that they do have a solution that you never knew was available. So stop by Lightspeed, stop by a booth that maybe you would normally pass and say, oh, that's for IT or that's for administration, because they probably have a solution that can help you out as well. So ask those questions, listen and learn while you're out on that vendor floor.
All right. Well, for me, I'm going to be here for the next 2 days, and I am going to be in my booth 2000. And I'm going to just be actively listening. I want to know what you need, right? I want to be able to give you the solution that you need. And again, hey, I am not a salesperson. I am here for training, for professional development. I want to help you. I want to give you those solutions. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to try to create what you need. I'm going to help you in any way that I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the risk. When we set this up all digitally, the original podcast is online. You're like, oh, we'll just do it over audio. Next thing you know, you're sitting in front of a camera with a microphone booming all over the grand concourse. You have spectators, visitors. So I appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate Lightspeed and their dedication to education and to the X Factor podcast network. It's great. We couldn't do it without you. We're almost 60 viewers already this morning, and many people walking by. So thank you all for tuning in. You heard our SMILEFactor. You heard the Lightspeed story. And for all of you out there, make sure to continue to have a great ISTE and continue to smile on.